right, chat. I want you guys to give it up for Mr. Gamnis Foto, all the way from Sweden.
Okay. I have no idea if you can hear me. I've been waiting for so long now. I've been drinking way too much coffee. So I was thinking about giving you a serenade. Sylvia Kelly! Some things in life can really make you mad. Other things just make you swear it comes. When you're doing life so, one will give a whistle. Life is oh my god, I broke the string again. I can't continue. My fingers, anyways. Nice to see you.
Did you really break your string?
Yeah, now I can hear you. Now it's fine.
Oh, now there you go. Can you redo that for us? Can you redo that for us?
Redo what?
Your song.
Oh, you didn't hear me?
Yes.
Oh my god, so it was... Okay, so I did everything and you couldn't hear me?
A little bit. It was like muffled. It was muffled. But we were just letting you go because you were so excited and happy, you know? We didn't want to interrupt the flow.
Because I was screaming like while I was waiting, I was nervous, and then I took way too much coffee, so I got like super just energetic, and I wanted to do something, and yeah, I did.
You know, it was great regardless. It was great regardless.
Thank you. It was fun.
Yes.
You shouldn't drink coffee while you wait, to be honest.
All right. Well, let's just get into it then.
Yeah, let's go.
So Linus sent me 5 photos, and I did finish them. I did finish them.
All of them.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. So his location is over there in Sweden, and he sent me these photos. And so what we're gonna do, chat, is we're gonna look at these photos. We're gonna look at his raws. We're gonna look at how he edited them, and then I didn't see his edited photos when I was editing them, so we're gonna compare and then just kind of talk about those comparisons. And hopefully, out of all this, we're gonna be able to get some good insights, into editing process and flow. So this is your first photo. Tell us kind of why you chose it and like what was your process in editing this?
I chose that one because you wanted a picture with the reflections, so I just brought that up because it's when I took it, I didn't really think much of it. It was more on the way to the location I was currently going. And I just saw like how beautiful the light was hitting like a little island, or what you say, and the reflections. So I just took the shot and went on, and then when I came home and started to like bring up the shadows, I realized that it was a really good shot. But still, it's I would say that this is the easiest for me, at least, that I edited of all those that I sent you.
Yeah. Okay.
So yeah, is that a good answer to the question?
Yeah, it is. Okay, so let me ask. So this is really beautiful. Like the detail on this is like really sharp. So where did you mask, or like where did you put adjustment brushes and stuff?
I think because I watched when you did it, and the things that you didn't want me to see that you said on stream. But you did like a huge job with the masking. I wasn't at all like that, because for me it's more about bringing up the shadows, and I think Lightroom does that really good. So I didn't actually do that much of a masking because the shadows in the clouds is not that present. So
Yeah.
I didn't need that much, to be honest.
All right. I'm going to pull up my edit, and then we'll put ours together.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's mine. So
I see.
What I did, well, obviously you'll be able to see yours is cropped in much more. So after looking at yours, I'm like, dude, it's very apparent you're really good at editing landscape. Your photo came out amazing. So mine, after I did all that work with the adjustment brushes, I ended up just keeping it simple, and I left it as this was one mask and then the water was one mask, because I wanted to really clarify and bring out the reflection in the water. But I was having a bit of a hard time with bringing up these shadows and not making it too fake, I guess you would say, for me, like when I was having a hard time with it. So this is what I came up with, a bit softer edit and stuff. Let me bring ours now together.
Yeah.
You can see your crop is a lot more squarish, and it's, you know, a lot more zoomed in. You definitely brought up the bottom portion all the way up to here on my photo, and then your top portion you're cropped in like right here. So I'll like that's what it would be compared to, like right here and then right here. But
yeah,
what do you think about the edit I did?
I think that the biggest issue that when I watched you edit, it was somewhat more of the capture one, to be honest. Because if this would be in the Lightroom, you would just increase the shadows, and then it would be not like what I have, but almost. You had to struggle so much to bring up the shadows with the masking and everything.
Yeah.
And you had to like only do the curves, so it looked so complicated for something that could be solved so easy.
Yeah, very true.
And how did you? Because you didn't also have that much time, and of course that is also like a factor.
Yeah, I feel like in a way with these, there is that little factor, of course, of like the time constraint and using a program that, you know, I've only been using for 30 days. I don't want that to be like an excuse in a way, but I feel like after looking at your photo, I'm able to see what can be done with the shot, you know, and when I do edit, like to really take your time and just be simple. Like, you know, that's one thing I learned from trying to do all my masking and stuff like that, is like, you don't need all that. Just bring up the shadows globally, and then get in there with a brush and brush in a darker exposure, or, you know, darker shadows versus the other way around.
And also like most of these like photos that I sent you, it was most of a challenge, because I would say that this is probably the photo that I'm really proud of, but all the others is kind of bad, I would say.
From this session.
So yeah, exactly. So this is a good one, I think. But still, I think it's a pretty good thing just to not always show the best of yourself, but also the flaws. And I think that I can learn the most from these pictures that I struggle with, just to see if there is something that you do that is just like, wow. And actually, there was a thing that I saw you when you did what you did about one picture, but we're gonna get to that I really liked.
Okay.
So it's problem solving.
Yes, that's one thing that, like, in the midst of the conversation of photography being so artistic and abstract and creative, on the other side it's math, or, you know, however you say, you know, values, point scale, you know, bringing up your sliders certain 0.5 or 0.2 and just dialing in those things. because that's like how we edit in our software. We're not just drawing on a piece of paper with a pencil and making abstract lines. Like we're dealing with like numbers and values in our editing system, and we could see our curves and our histograms, and when we drive those values up, it creates the art. And so I think that honestly is mind-blowing to me, that line you just said, dude. Like it's math. Like, like that's so cool, because I don't want to get into like the golden ratio and all that stuff too. I don't know if you ever heard of that, but it's like, dude, like even things in nature that look so beautiful, you don't even realize like the science and the math behind those things, you know? I don't know. That's crazy. Okay, let's move on to the next one. All right, and I had to put this up there because you sent it to me. So I take it that you didn't enjoy this one.
No, this is such an anticlimax.
You thought this shot was poop.
Yeah, because this is like a canola field, and the canola fields is amazing in Sweden. They're like so beautiful in Sweden. And when I photographed, because this was when I had like the Sony A7, the first one. And that's when I photographed this kind of stuff, I realized, because if you look at the original, the green and yellow all just gets stuck in together, and it's so bad. The dynamic range on the colors is horrible. So that was that's the biggest problem for me, how to get like the yellow visible, and like the green more greenish, or something, or like distinct, something else at least. And everything that I did, it didn't really turn out good, so I just gave up.
All right, well, I did throw in your other image, so he didn't just leave it as poop, guys. He actually, did the edit and stuff like that. So you definitely brought the crop up a little bit, but you mainly brought the crop down from the sky, so you get that middle crop action right there. The horizon line. Yeah,
I enjoyed how it like kind of framed it like a bell.
Well, Linus, I kind of had the same thinking. I was thinking, as good of a shot as this is, I felt it just to be very plain. Like you could just do a good edit, and do your best to separate those yellows and those greens, bring up the lighting and create a good image. What I try to do was play with the colors a bit more. So this is what I came up with. So I was thinking something like Holland. I was thinking like a different tulip or like a different flower farm, because like you said, that yellow sticks with the green so easy. But then I felt like if I turned the hue of that yellow to an orange, then maybe we'd get more of a separation. Another thing that I did with this was I filled in the flowers. So I don't know how good of a job it looks. I mean, if you really dissect it, I'm sure you can find flaws, because this is kind of the first time doing it. Like little things. But
yeah, it doesn't look really good if you zoom it in, but still, I love that problem solving. That was
I like that problem solving.
That was the biggest wow I got for when I watched you. It's like, oh, that is so creative, because I didn't think of it, but when you did it, it was so obvious that it would look so much better. And I can promise you, if you had more time and if you were kind of more careful with it, it would look amazing. Just that thing, it raises my grade a lot.
And then I adjusted the blues as well, the clouds, adding some more warmth. So like I said, like with this shot, I felt like it's just a good shot. You got the great leading lines. It's a beautiful field of flowers. You got a really nice big cloud. But I don't know, in mine, I felt like I wanted to portray like more of like a calmer emotion to it, comfort and stuff. So that's kind of where I went with that.
Yeah, I think because mine is more harsh yellow and you have a lot more calm. I'm not sure if the orange and the blue kind of comes together. It looks a bit off. Just the bluish, but otherwise, if you just turn down the blue, I think it would be really good.
Nice. All right. On to this next one. So this next one, we got your edit there, and here's the raw. So you cropped this one big time, into a square almost, right?
Yeah, I wanted to like the leading lines a bit more.
That's
but
pretty
I'm not
flame.
sure if
Nice.
it was a good decision. But to be honest, I think it was more for Instagram. Maybe I'm not really sure because now when I think about it, it would probably look better with original crop.
I could see it being cropped for Instagram for sure. I really liked how you brought the highlights out.
Yeah, thanks.
And one other thing too, guys.
The green.
The green, and then you brought the yellows out big time. Like you really highlighted those yellow flowers.
Yeah, I kind of like just something like big contrast in something.
Yeah. Wow. That's big. This is another one that I was kind of biting off more than I could chew with the masks. And so I had to dial it back. And I just did two. I did one gradient mask going down and one going up. And like that was it. And then I just kind of played with the colors to bring out the purple and the pinks. But then I tried my best to straighten the horizon line. And yeah, let's put them together real quick. There you go. So we got the two edits side by side. Asya, you love the purple tones?
Mine is kind of like apocalyptic almost, and yours is more like soothing somehow. Yeah,
yours has those real contrasty lines with the grass and the forest.
Yeah.
Your forest is very mysterious and very scary.
Yeah, and the biggest problem for me here is like the green. Because I think that the Sony A7 has a lot of problem with the grass and the green in general.
The Sony A7.
So yeah, at least when it comes to a lot of different like the dynamic range.
Did you
kind of photos, it's hard.
Did you take a adjustment brush and brighten up the fog?
Yeah, kind of. I think I took the whole bottom, like the clarity, and the green of course. But yeah, I think it, and probably a bit extra clarity in the fog. Yeah, clarity is amazing for bringing out fog.
Oh yeah, clarity. Okay. Yeah, one thing about my edit that I kind of wish I did was I wish I kind of worked on the clouds a bit more. Like you see that separation that you have with your pinks and your dark tones. I kind of wish I had that separation as well, because I feel like that really gives a beautiful dynamic when you can mix those. And versus this where it's just kind of like a washed purple, you know, this kind of seems more realistic, because I've seen this all the time here on Maui. You see this all the time. The upper atmosphere clouds get hit with that beautiful color, and then the clouds lower with that gray. This one could be more of like a stormy day. You know, I've seen clouds like this before as well. But I think a little bit for my taste, I wish these lower clouds were just like a bit darker. But yeah. Overall, what do you think?
I think it's you made a picture a lot better, and it looks calm. I would say it's a somewhat washed, like it's maybe a bit more like dehaze or contrast. But otherwise, I really enjoy it because it's a total different vibe than from mine. Mine is more like I would say intense. I think mine is pretty more intense, while you have a much more calm and soothing.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Let's go to this next one. Really interesting that you decided to crop this in. And what's the megapixels on this camera body that you shot this picture with?
The megapixel.
Yeah.
That was my Sony A7, and what is it, 24? Is it 27, 24, something like that, like a full frame.
Nice. Yeah, because these kinds of crops with these when you take a landscape photo like this, I mean, the bigger the megapixel, the better your crops are gonna be when you crop in, especially tight like this, to blow it up. Like my camera is a 16 megapixel, so if I had a shot like this and we compared ours side by side by cropping in, yours would come out a lot sharper, more detailed than my Nikon. So that's a good benefit for those bigger megapixel cameras. But other than that, I was like, whoa, you totally like took this in, and I like it. I like it.
It's a bit cramped, but yeah, I kind of like it too.
What did you not
Maybe
like about it?
Yeah, well, it's I need maybe more space at the sides. But otherwise, I think also like it's pretty cool. It's pretty annoying with the horizon, because it's tilting a bit, I think, but it's just like how the grass is, so there is nothing really to do, I guess.
Okay.
Or is it, maybe, I'm not really sure if I just did it wrong or something.
Let's I will bring up,
bothers me a bit.
I can see it. I can see the tilt with the grass especially, and then in the background too. Let me just zoom in here real quick too and look at these greens real quick, because you really blasted the highlights on those greens.
This almost looks like the picture.
Yeah, that's your tree. All right, here's my edit.
Ooh, I really like that one. That was because it's like the first impression, like the first second that you feel something about a photograph. That's like the most viral part, and that felt like I really enjoyed like the warm colors here.
This was another one of those like the flower fields. Yeah, and it's kind of one of those where it's like you could create a good image of like the yellow and blues and get a good image. I felt like with this shot, kind of the same thing. Like you could get a good edit from this, but I wanted to convey more of an emotion with like the warmth and like what I imagine is this is sunset. Like you're at this tree, it's sunset time, the sun's setting, you got the shadows on the tree trunk, the grass is being lit up by the sunlight, and so let me bring ours together.
It's really good. Amazing. Yeah,
there we go.
Mine is popping a bit more, and yours is. Yeah, it's kind of like the other photo. Like mine is more intense.
Yeah.
It will probably like bring if you would look at one of these, mine would probably attract the eye more, but I think that yours is nicer to look at. I would rather look at yours for a longer period of time than mine.
You know, one thing I was thinking about, because like I said at the very beginning, you can tell you're a landscape photographer. I mean, that's your whole thing. You go to your Instagram, your photos are beautiful, amazing. This is what you do. And for me, I don't know, like I kind of took a different route in a way of like trying to make things a bit more calmer in the sense of my editing, because before I got into portraits and stuff like that, I was doing landscapes like all the time, and that was my passion. I wanted to get into galleries and stuff like that, and so I was doing a lot of the intense stuff like you do. Not saying yours is bad, but I'm just saying it's kind of cool to see like for myself like how far like my style has changed a bit, and you know, changed in my way. But like I said, from the very beginning of your edits and stuff, I'm like, dude, like your edits are so good and so cool, and it's great to see your distinct style. And
thank you.
Yeah, which brings us to this last image, because this last image, I feel like I did have a hard time with it as well, because it's another one of those shots that's it's so cool, it's so good. It's like these beautiful shadows, the beautiful lighting. I didn't know where to start. So let's just start with you.
Yeah.
Your edit, what was your thinking behind it?
Well, it was my turn to have the golden vibe, I guess. So I really wanted the forest to be golden. And then I had such a hard time with how I want because if I brought up the shadows at the sides too much, then the middle part, like where the actual light was, it would like go away. So I was trying to find something in between, and I thought it was really hard. I would say that I'm not finished with this one because it feels, when I look at these two, it's something is missing. At least in the foreground. I think the background is great.
Yeah, I'd be interested to see like your other images from this session as well, because so places like this, do you just like randomly come upon them, or are they well known?
This specifically is the wild garlics, and this was me researching because I just in the spring I wanted to like get blooming flowers, and the wild garlic is amazing when it blooms. And this is kind of like a famous place in Sweden called Kinnekulle, Munkängarna. It's like the monk fields.
Wow.
Because there's kind of like old monk ruins. And this was one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen, to be honest, because this was everywhere. It was
like if you were to do a 360, this is everywhere.
Yeah.
So where do you walk?
Everywhere.
Are you careful when you're walking? Like you don't want to leave like bad imprints or footprints in these beautiful flowers?
Yeah, exactly. And they smell like pretty intensive of garlic.
I'm trying to imagine that right now. Just walking through probably make me hungry.
Yeah, because it's so intense. So you get like almost full just by smelling. But this is this is delicious. I've heard.
Really? Can you pick it?
Yeah, it's like
Is it protected?
Yeah,
is this a protected area, or can you just roll up and pick some garlic and roll out?
I think in this area it's protected, but there's a lot of where you can just pick it.
Ooh, nice. Well, awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, let me bring up my edit. When you sent me yours, I was like, hey, ours are a little bit similar.
Oh. I see you like blurred out the sides, right?
Yeah. So what I did, and I wasn't sure if it was gonna work or not. And now that I'm looking at it, it's like, I don't know. So I think the thing that's throwing me is the color in the light. But okay, before I get into, or actually let me explain. So what I did was the blur is actually, I took globally, I took the clarity down to -100. I took the clarity down to -100. I did a Ludovic move. That's what he likes to do, is declarify things. And then I just masked in the light with clarity. And I believe I might have used a different preset with the middle. That's why you're getting those like warmer tones. But that's it, because I tried playing with the colors. I tried doing that, and it just wasn't coming out what I wanted. And so that was a little difficult. But yeah, okay, so what do you think?
I think it's a bit too harsh with the lines, the feather. It should use a bit more feathering, and because now it's very clear of where you have the mask. It's you can see that it's edited, because everything is like blurred out except the little triangle, or what do you say?
Yeah.
So probably more of the sun and the forest maybe, and some bit more feathering maybe, so the lines isn't that sharp so you can see them. But I really like the idea of how just having it a bit blurred out. I just think that the lines are too sharp so you can see it too much.
Okay, let's put ours side by side real quick. All right, so your crop, you cropped yours in, you brought yours up. to about this
Yeah.
part, comparable to my photo, and then with the top you left it. So you left the top, and then you just brought the bottom up. So you have more like a fatter versus my skinny. You got a thick photo there.
Yeah, but honestly, I also think that I cropped it for Instagram, but it's way better at 2:3 that you have it.
It's nice. It's nice with the light stream. You know, it's nice letting that light guide your eye, and I definitely see what you're saying about with the feathering. I feel like I could have maybe even feathered, or I could have given clarity to this, and then maybe did the D clarity over here, so it kind of fades into the background versus it just being like this distinct triangle here.
Yeah.
But
and there's also like a problem with the A7. That's also a reason why I changed it. Is, as you can see, it becomes like a very annoying flare at the top of the light source. It's like the extra dots. So like the ray on the top is missing. There's like an empty space where the sun ray isn't.
Yeah, right here.
Yeah, you can see there's almost like I wouldn't say penis, but it almost looks like a penis sticking out there. And that's a known issue for this Sony A7.
Time to caffeinate.
It's really annoying when it's harsh light.
All right, so we're gonna go back through the photos, and you got to give me a grade. You can either do it Sweden school grade system or the United States, which is A, B, C, D, F.
Yeah. So A, and you have a plus and minus.
Yeah, we have plus and minuses.
So the worst grade is just F, or is it F minus?
Yeah. I don't even think I'd be excited about an F plus.
Yeah, an A plus is the best.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so I would grade it most, because I will also think about the time aspect. I think most of these photos you have to have pretty much time just to try things out, because it's, for me at least, I had to try things out because I couldn't do what I normally do.
Yeah.
And I saw you with this photo, and I think this capture one was the biggest issue. So I would say that this is B minus. Yeah,
okay.
B minus.
Okay. And a reminder, no pulling punches, bro. Give it to me straight.
Yeah.
So B minus is good.
But I
okay.
Still think it's like a decent. And the capture one is your biggest enemy in this this photo.
I appreciate that. I think Flame at the top of this whole session, he commented like, this reminds him of like coffee or something. I thought that was kind of cool. Okay.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Want a bit more details because I can't see that much details.
I totally agree, especially with the forest, man. The way you brought it out was so beautiful.
Yeah,
all right, next one.
Next one. Yeah, I really liked. The only thing is the blue. It throws me off because when I look at it, just the blue catches my eyes. It's like my eyes is drawn to the blue because it's so intense compared to everything else. But otherwise, because it's such a shitty photo, I would say it's still a B.
A B? Okay.
Yeah, because it's it's such a hard photo to edit.
Okay.
And the crop is also like I would say that your crop is somewhat better than mine. No, this is actually B plus.
Okay. B+.
Yeah, because the cloning and how you put the flowers in the empty spaces.
Thanks for remembering that,
I love
Tishu.
that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, so it would almost be like an A. Yeah, it would be an A if the blue would be less blue.
Okay, all right, that's good. Okay, on to the next one.
Yeah, this is also like, because it's so much better than the original, and it feels, because you said that it might felt more realistic. I think yours is more realistic. It somewhat feels, I would not touch that much, because if you compare it to mine, so I really like it. How did you think about the cropping, by the way?
On mine or yours?
On yours.
I feel like I did an okay job centering the leading lines and getting that horizon line straight. I know that with the forest, right, it has a decline, but you can't really help that. But as long as like the horizon line is straight there on the land, I was okay with it.
Yeah. But how did you think about the sky where the cropping went?
I like it. I like to look at photos as layers. Like, if anything, if I were to change anything, honestly, I would probably bring up the bottom so that I have an equal proportion of this layer, and this layer. So it's not like, so it's, you know what I'm talking about? Like, so there's like an even proportion of layers, so you have like distinct 3 layers. I think that would be kind of a cool effect, because you have these great beautiful purple skies, you know, this greenish brown forest, and then this real nice calm green down here. So if I were to go back and crop this, I'd probably bring this up maybe to like here, so that you'd have those layers.
Yeah, just my impression is just to bring it up a bit, because I don't know why, but it bothers me slightly that the cloud at the middle top is somewhat cut off.
Oh, yes, I see that.
Yeah, so it's cramping me a bit just to something, because I can see also like in the left upper corner, it's quite nice with the leading lines, and I can see that you may have just watched that and forgotten about the other things.
Yeah.
Because that's the only thing that I just because I think of that, and then I'm having a hard time just to think about anything else, because that just bothers me.
You just got to get that little separation between the cloud and the top of the photo border.
Yeah.
All
but
right.
I would say that this otherwise it's a B minus. I like it.
B minus. All right.
It would be a B with a slight up, just to so the cloud isn't.
My parents would be happy with these B's. All right, next one.
Yeah, this is I would say the best one, but I still, because I also think, what would you need for an A? That would be like a perfect. Or is A plus a thing? Can you get A plus?
I feel like if I were to get an A plus on this, I would have left the greens in the tree and not make it so yellow. I would have masked the foreground. I like the foreground.
Yeah.
I like the color of it. I like the color of the trees. But this right here, I feel like I could have let the greens stay, or at least not bring it down as warm. And then I feel like that would have maybe given it that little extra boost.
Yeah. And also a thing that you may not think about, but what's been like a guideline for me, at least, when it comes to landscape, and that's helped me so much, it's to think about what bothers me. It's not more what I like, it's more what keeps me from looking at what I enjoy in this picture, what bothers me, what is like distracting.
Yeah.
And there's a slight thing that you could have done, and that's to the left, there's like pointing out the thing.
Boom.
Just a bit randomly. Yeah.
Very true. Shreddy caught that in the comments as well. But very good. Very good observation, for sure.
Yeah, so it's like tiny things that distracts you, because
that's good.
If I look
right?
at the so I look.
You want that A plus?
Just,
it's you got to really put in the work to get that good grade, that perfect thing, and it's those little things like you're pointing out that really take it to that next level.
Yeah, And that's also a great tip for you guys doing landscape if you're new to it. A thing that I usually do is, if I photo something, I look at the location and the composition and see like what is distracting me, or if it's like some rubble just laying, so I can pick it off, because it can be just like a tiny little branch just lying there that can just distract you so much afterwards, and it's too hard to clone away. So just clean up when you take a photo, clean up things so you get like a nice, or put something there if you want it there, but don't have it like a surprise.
Yeah. You know what's crazy is like when I first got into photography, I was like such like a purist of like, no, I just want to take the photo and then like, you know, not put too much saturation, just, you know, enough to bring it out, and then just as is. And then I come to find out all of like the most beautiful, famous photos, I mean, aside from film, of course, but mostly all these amazing, I mean, of course, you could see it on the Instagram feature pages and stuff. Almost 100% of them are photoshopped or like manipulated in a way where they remove distractions, remove people out of the ocean, remove things, clone things, tidying up. And now that I'm getting used to that more, I don't mind it as much, because you're creating art. Like that's the whole thing, is like I used to just be like so against that and like, no, just leave the photo as it is, blah blah blah. And you can do that, but it's you're not cheating. Like if you think about it, you're creating art. Like there's this quote that I heard, it's Edgar Degas or something like that, where he says art is not what you see, but art is what you make others see. You know, and I like that, because as a photographer, you take the photo and you see it and you're like, oh, this is great, but you want to take that further into art. You can manipulate, you can clone things, you can take things out, you can dodge the bird, like Ludo said, even film stuff. And so I would say that you saying this is encouraging me, you know, and I feel like anyone else out there, like, don't be afraid to try that out. Don't be afraid to get into Photoshop and to tidy things up, because then you might produce something that's really beautiful and that will take it over the notch. I don't know. Yeah,
and you can real life Photoshop by doing those kind of things, like picking off the things off the ground lying there.
Yep. Real life Photoshop. There you go.
Yeah, and that's almost like the same thing if you clone it afterwards, but you cloned it IRL. And I just realized the thing also, that's when we talked about like emotions and stuff.
Yeah.
And because your photo like of this tree is really cool. I love the feeling, but for me, because when I was there, that's a lot of when I edit. I want to the kind of vibe and the feeling, the emotion I had at the place, because it was such a like special moment, and I want to replicate that and enhance it. So for me, why not going like this kind of edit was because it wasn't like that moment for me. But still, this is such a like nice photo, but it haven't crossed my mind because it wasn't like that when I was there. But still, it's a legit edit, because no one can say it's wrong or right.
Yeah. All right. Sweet. All right. Next one. Last one.
So it's an A.
Yeah, we got an A. Choo.
Yeah.
All B's. We got 3 B's, 1 A, and this last one.
Yeah. And this is probably me being a bit more harsh.
Give it to me.
Yeah, the feeling I get from this is you don't have much time.
Amateur hour.
So it was more like I'm doing a very rough mask here.
Did this guy edit this photo in Photoshop Elements or what?
Yeah, it's like one mask and do some blur or whatever, declarify.
Yeah.
So I would say that this feels unfinished and not thought through, because of the harsh lines. It looks a bit more. You could really edit it, like the harshness. I would somehow prefer almost the original, at least when it comes to flowers, not the background. So, but it's still not an F, of course not. This is a D.
A D. All right.
Yeah.
Well,
You would still
that's
pass.
okay.
Because you
That's
still pass,
okay.
right?
Yes, we still pass.
Yeah.
But I'm that's totally fine. I think you know, yeah. If I were to re-edit this totally, I would fade in differently, do all that stuff. But that's a good critique, because there are those edits, man, that we do, and we and we think it's good, or we think it's good enough, and it really isn't good enough, and especially if you're wanting to put out like a really good curated portfolio or Instagram, like really scrutinize your images, especially the ones that you post and stuff. And so
Yeah.
that's good.
Yeah, I think that's what I tend to do more now. It's more like the punchy stuff, because Instagram, it works on Instagram, the punchy stuff. But like comparing it to yours edits, it somehow feels like yours is, I would rather have that in some cases.
So merely says D just means I'm destined to try again. So
Yeah.
well, dude, thank you so much for letting me edit your photos. It was really good.
Yeah,
it was
thanks.
really fun.
Yeah, it was really
My
fun
question
just to see.
my question to you
Yeah.
is, would you be willing to put one or two of these in the Discord, in the exchange channel, for other people to try?
Yeah, sure. Like the exchange
one or
raw
two.
challenge. Yeah.
It is the channel in the share your photos, all the way at the bottom it says exchange raw files,
Yeah.
and then in that channel just post a WeTransfer link or something.
All right. And the WeTransfer link can be used multiple times, I guess.
Yeah, it has a time limit, so it'll eventually disappear and expire for you, so your photos aren't floating out there endlessly. But I don't know if chat, you guys want to try your hand at some of these photos, which they were amazingly beautiful. One thing I suggest, or I asked from Linus, was I wanted a water reflection photo, because we don't have still lakes and stuff like that out here on Maui. So if you guys have that same thing, or you guys want to really try out your hand at this flower field or something, or whatever Linus puts in the channel, try your hand at it and see.
Yeah. I would probably put like the most challenging, like probably the flower field, the two flower fields. Unless someone in the chat just types that they want something specific.
We appreciate you doing that, bro, and thank you for coming on. I was so stoked that you wanted to do this, because I was, I always kind of have an idea of what I want to do, but I think for the 24-hour stream and you being able to come on, you freaking knocked our socks off with the guitar playing. That was good. Even though it was a little muffled, it's okay. Just watch the VOD over and you'll see it was still good. Your energy and everything was freaking epic. So
yeah. Well, lucky I have like extra strings, so it's no problem. I had to change them.
All right, dude. So, well, that's it. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
We're gonna have to do this again. I'm gonna have to send you some photos so that you can come back and I can critique you. And
okay,
the
so
student will become
opposite,
the master. Right? Exactly.
Yeah, it would be great, like because I really want to learn more about portraits and
yeah, I'll
events,
be sure
like
to load you up with some stuff.
I am like clueless when it comes to edit people. Well, not clueless, but more clueless than the landscape, at least.
All right. Well, I know what I'm gonna send you then.
Okay. Like really hard ones.
Yes. I'm gonna put you on the big screen so that you can say goodbye to everybody and show them some love. Chat.
Okay.
Show some love to Linus. How long are you?
Hey.
How long are you planning to watch the 24?
I'll see, but I will have it in my background.
get some
anyway,
sleep.
until I get to sleep, and then
All
probably
right.
when I get awake too, because I'm going to bed in a few hours. So we'll see.
All right.
It's a bit different.
You're
here
going
in
to
Sweden
bed,
in the time.
and I'll be cooking breakfast.
Yeah, I will see that. I will see that.
All right. Well, thank you again for coming on, Linus. I really appreciate it, and I hope you have a good evening. And I'll see you
Yeah,
later.
you too, and good luck everyone with the staying awake and stuff.
Thanks, man.